Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be pre-making a closure for the braided wig I want to make. So if you're still struggling on how to make a beautiful and neat looking closure, then you definitely need to stick around, because here today I'm going to be showing you how to achieve just that. So I'm going to be using a measuring tape and a hairnet. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to align the hairnet onto the cap. So this is how you want your hairnet aligned onto the cap. So you definitely want a straight line just facing this direction. So right now I'm going to be using the measuring tape to calculate how much of the hair I need to include. So right now I'm just going to be doing a 6x6 calculation, 6 to the back and 6 across. So after highlighting for the back, I'm going to come to the front, and then I'm going to be doing a division of 6, which is 3. So 3 should be my middle part, and then I'm going to highlight for the 6 also. So after doing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out the excess part of the net. So always make sure you're careful not to cut out the necessary part you're going to be needing. So after cutting it out, now I'm just going to sew it to the direction my hands are pointing. So guys, when you're buying your wig cap, always be careful not to buy a small size wig cap. You can definitely do with a big size or a medium size wig cap, depends on the size of the head of the closure you're making. But do not buy a small size wig cap, because it is not going to fit. So, and always make sure you buy a cap that is at least elastic, especially when you're doing a braided wig. So after sewing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out the excess parts of the cap. So I'm just going to flip this over, and then I'm going to cut out the unnecessary parts which I do not need for this cap. So you always want to make sure to be careful not to cut out the net or the sewing part of the cap. So after cutting it out, this is what we're working with. So this is what we have. So with this, our wig cap is ready, and then now I'm going to start crocheting the hair. So guys, this is what we've done so far. So this is what we have. So I'm going to try to be as detailed as I can be. So you want to make sure you're listening at least to get 1 or 2 things from this. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to start from the middle. So in this middle, I'm crocheting every hole. As in I'm doing this, I'm doing at least 2 to 3 strands of hair for this middle part. So you can still do 4, but it shouldn't be above 4. So I'm just crocheting on every hole as I move forward. So as you can see guys, this is a DIY crochet pin I'm using. So I made a video on how to do that, but I am yet to edit it. As soon as the video is ready, I'm definitely going to show you how I made this. So if you're working on a budget, then you definitely need a DIY crochet pin to do your work. And if you have the professional one, it is still fine. So what matters guys is the result. As long as your result is neat and beautiful, then you don't have any problem at all. So all you have to do is just to get a neat result at the end of the day. So by the time I'm done with this middle part, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to move forward. So next, I'm just going to skip 1 whole line, and then I'll move to the next line. So I skipped 1 line guys, and then I move to the next line. And in this next line, all I'm doing is to crochet 1 hole, and then I'll skip 1 hole, and then I'll move to the next hole. So I'm just going to give you a closer look so you'll see how this is done. So this is a closer look, and now see how I'm doing this. All I did is just to crochet 1 hole, and then I skipped 1 hole, and then I crocheted the next hole, and then I skipped another hole. So just how it is done. So 1 hole crochet, skip 1 hole, and then I move to the next hole. So as I'm doing this, as I'm crocheting the hair, I'm using at least 2, 3, 4, 5 strands of hair. So it shouldn't be above 5, so at least the hair will not be too full or bulky, because by the time I'm done, I'm going to be sectioning the hair, and in sectioning the hair, you definitely want to have an equal line for all of the boxes. But before then, guys, all you have to do is just crochet one hole, you skip the next hole, and then you move to the another hole. So I'm doing pretty much the same thing for all of this. So guys, I would like to point out that in making a closure for a braided wig is different from making a closure for a wig cap. So if you're making a closure for a wig cap, you definitely do not need to leave out enough space as you make a closure for a braided wig. So a wig cap, you definitely need to fill up at least some holes, enough holes at least, so it will look so natural. But in making for a braided wig, you definitely need to leave on some space so to have that natural look. So I hope guys that you at least see some of the difference and you take note of that. So now guys, I'm done, and look how beautiful the hair turned out. So this is what we have. As you can see, it is looking so scanty and it is looking beautiful, and that is what we want. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to section the hair. So in making this, guys, there are 2 important things you need to take note of. First of all is crocheting the hair, which is the number 1. So you want to make sure you're crocheting, at least leaving some space. One hole, you move to the next. And the second thing, which is very important, is sectioning the hair, which we are going to be doing now. So you can decide to have any numbers of boxes you want. You can decide to do a 20 by 20 if you want a big size. You can decide to do a 10 by 10 if you want a middle size, and you can decide to do a 7 by 7, 8 by 8 if you want smaller size. Depends on what you want, guys. But for me, I'm doing a 7 by 10. I'm doing a 7 by 10, so I just counted 10, and then across I'm just going to count 7, and that is what I'm doing for this closure. So if you notice at the back of the hair, it is slightly bigger because I did 10 by 10. So when I got to the middle down to the front, I did a 7 by 7. So it all depends on how you want to align your closure, how you want to align the boxes for your closure, which is totally fine. The basic thing is just crocheting the hair, and then you can decide on the numbers of boxes you want. You can either do a small, a medium size, or a big size, depends on the kind of wig you want to make. So making your closure like this, especially irrespective of what you're making, if you're making a weaving, if you're making a braided hair or anything, setting it before braiding the hair is very important because it saves time. So by the time I'm done setting this now, all I'm just going to do is braid the hair, and it is not going to waste much of my time. So making the whole of this closure literally took me just a day and a half to do. So because this is faster, I feel this method to me is faster, but depends on what you want for your own method. So guys, like I always say, you can be doing other things while you make the closure, because I hear a lot of people saying it is hard, it is time consuming and the rest. But if you keep your mind occupied by doing other things, you'll be surprised how fast you've been. So you can watch movies, you can discuss with your family, you can do 1 or 2 things, and it is going to make it faster. So it all depends on what you want. So that is what I always do when I'm making. So as you can see, all I'm doing now is just a follow through. so this is easier for me to do. And by the time I'm done, I'm going to braid the hair, and then I'm going to do my baby hair. So you can decide to do a baby hair after, or you can decide not to do a baby hair at all. So it all depends on what you want. So guys, as you can see, the hair is looking so neat as I section the hair just the way I crochet the hair, and then I section the hair, and this is the outcome of what we have. So this is really beautiful, guys. This is really beautiful, and it is neat. So I hope at least you've learned 1 or 2 things from this video. By the way, guys, do not forget to leave your comments about what you think about this closure. I'm going to be making a braided wig with this, so you definitely need to stick around, so you are going to see how the wig is going to turn out. So guys, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video to your friends and family, and thank you so much for always sticking around. So that is the end of this video, guys.